खुल गया HTTP
I think everybody joined as an unmute, so mute yourself unless you are saying something. So, Satish, are you going to record the session as well, right?
Yes, it's getting recorded.
Okay. And we are going to start at 11:10, so we should be, go complete 2 hours, okay?
Yeah. Is everybody in?
No, man, people might be here and there, right? Because of waiting. So just give them like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we can.
Hey, Jagmohan. Yeah, I mean, I was the meet. Normally there's a meeting that is scheduled in the night 10 o'clock time every day. Today, when we are like trying to log in, nobody is able to log in, and it shows that there is some a meeting already which is in progress, which is not there. It become like hell of this thing. What I did now, I purchased a new Zoom account and I shared with all the students. It took around 35 minutes, and there is no other session which is present. And I don't have that Zoom credential. So actually, it got stuck and it is saying if you're the host, log in with the credentials. I don't have that credentials.
अभी किया 1 हफ्ता हुआ है जी आमीन मामू आमीन और बाकी सीमा खाला ठीक है
Hey guys, you have to be on mute. Everybody joined as an unmute. So make sure if you are not saying into the training, make sure you are mute, okay?
Shall we start, guys?
Yeah, in a minute. Yep.
Yes.
We'll start then in a minute. So everybody's here. Who's missing? I don't see. Salman is here. Okay. Hey Satish, who is this iPhone? Yesterday we saw some other person too in the call. Who's this? Did you invite that person or was it like by mistake? Satish, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's that iPhone. I didn't invite anybody else.
Okay. So guys, if please keep this meeting to you. Unless you invite someone, you have to let us know before sending this invite to anyone else. Just to let you know. I think you can start. Think Kalim will join, momentarily. So he's gonna join in a bit. So okay, you can start.
Good morning, guys. First of all, sorry about the glitch. I don't know what happened. So I immediately purchased a new account and started this meeting. I have to check with my old account what is that problem. All right. Well, we'll start with Linux. We'll see the basic things because once we create a Linux instance, we need next week we'll be seeing AWS CLI. So to understand AWS CLI, we need to know a little bit of Linux and understanding the file systems structure. So we'll start with the Linux. Okay, we'll cover a lot on Linux today, from kind of basic to little file creation kind of stuff. All right. Now, first of all, what is Linux, or what is an operating system? Why do we need an operating system? How a CPU understands, or how a core understands, is ones and zeros. How human understands is the normal English, right? So to transfer this normal English to the system understandable commands, we need an interface. That interface is nothing but OS, which is called as operating system. So there are so many OS. Okay, there are different types of OS. Okay, one is called as single user, single task. Okay, second one is called as multi-task and single user. Third one is multi-user and multitasking. Can anybody give me an example of single user, single task OS? Anybody? So have you guys heard of MS-DOS? MS-DOS is kind of an operating system which is a single user and it can only do one task at a time. And single user multitask, if you take any Windows OS, it can do, all single user can log in, but a single user can do task 1, task 2, task 3. Oh, it is still not working. Who is this? Mansoor. Mansoor, we all logged in. Working for everyone, Mansoor?
It's not like there is a limit of 10 people, not more than 10 people can join. It's not like that, right?
100 people can join. I just purchased something 100.
Okay.
Okay. Can somebody check with Mansoor? No problem. We'll continue.
Fahad, can you please check with Mansoor quickly?
Sure, let me do that.
Okay.
Okay, multi-user multitasking. If you take something called as Unix, Unix is a OS which multi-user. What do I mean by multi-user? Now I have a server. On the server, I have an installed a OS called as Linux. Now, how many users can log in at a time? I can log in at a time, you can log in at a time, X can log in at a time, Y can log in at a time. All the 4 users can log into the server at the same time. How? Basically, it will be basically in something called a server client architecture. What is a server client architecture? This is very important, guys. For everything that we do, everything will be under server client architecture. Okay, now what is a server client architecture? I have a server. My server is there in a data center. It is connected to a network. Okay, now I have client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4. So any of this, so this client is also nothing but my personal laptop or personal desktop. So if I want to write or read data to this server, the interface would be the client. From the client, I'll go and access this system. I'll write or read the data. So if I have 4 clients, 4 users, X1, X2, X3, X4, 4 users can log in at the same time. And X can run task 1, task 2. X1 can run task 3, task 4. X3 can run task 4, task 5. X4 can run task 6, task 7. So basically, Unix is or Linux is an operating system which will able to run multiple users, multiple tasks at the same time. All right. Now, what is the origin of Linux? Most of the people, when they say that Linux and Unix is one of the same, or it is similar, which is not exactly true. To some extent it might be true. Okay, so there, okay, now what happened in 19, so first of all, who developed Unix was developed by AT&T, okay, in late 1974s. Then there's a person by name Linux Torvalds. Okay, he's there in the final year. So when he's there in the final year, his teacher, faculty gave, or his professor gave him a project that is based on Unix. So he did that project. He named that project as his name, Linux. So when he was developing this OS, he used the same kernel what Unix is having. Okay, so basically what is the similarity between Unix and Linux is that they actually use the same kind of kernel. That means the structure of the OS is same. That is the only similarity. Now you can ask me, what is a kernel? So kernel is the important or the core component of any operating system. So why it is the core operating system? If I'm telling that Linux and Unix are based on the same architecture, right? Or the same structure. Now, what is that architecture for Unix, or what is the architecture for Linux? Okay, now I have something called as hardware. On the hardware only we have OS or anything installed, right? On the hardware, we have something called as kernel as the next layer. Sorry. I have the next layer. The next layer as the shell. We'll come to what shell is. I have the next layer as utilities. Okay, this is the architecture or the structure of the Unix or the Linux operating systems. So what does this kernel will do? This kernel, so now if I have to open your laptop, okay, on the laptop you have opened MS Word. How did you open? You went on click start, MS Office, and then MS Word. So you have basically given 3 commands to the system to open the MS Word. Similarly, if you have to tell anything to the hardware here, this Linux is, now you also have graphical user interface. If you have to communicate through a CLI, you need some interface. That interface is nothing but shell. There are a lot of shells. Okay, there are shells like SH, KSH. Okay, now the latest shell that we are using for Linux is called as bash, which is born again shell, which is called as born again shell. So what does the shell does? Through the shell only we issue the commands to the hardware. So the kernel will take these commands with the help of shell. We tell the kernel will give it to the hardware and tells what it has to exactly do. And utilities are nothing but the applications which are there on top of the OS. All right. Now, anything in Linux or um, in Linux or Unix, everything is a file. So it has some of the very powerful file architecture that is designed. Okay, we'll see that file. So anybody know what is the root directory for Windows? Any idea what is the root directory for Windows? You guys have heard something called as C? C drive, that is a root directory for Windows. So similarly, what is a root directory for the Unix? For the Unix, the root directory is slash. This is the top level. Some people call it as the top level directory. Okay, or some people call it as root directory. If you guys have observed yesterday when you created an instance, okay, it showed you the device, the hard disk name as /sda / something. All right, if you guys go back, you can check. That means that disk information is there under slash. That is the root path of that. That is the path that it was showing yesterday when you were creating instances. Okay, now I have the root directory. Under root directory, there are so many things. Let's say there's so many things under root directory. The first one is there's something called as /root. Okay, a root is a super user. A root user is a super user on Linux. A root user is a super user on Linux. He can do everything. and /root, it is the home directory. It is the home directory of the root user. So that means all the working information, everything under the files that a root create, if a root user is creating some files, the metadata of the root user, everything is stored under /root. Similar /root on Windows. So what is a super user on Windows? The super user under Windows is administrator. Okay, for Windows, the super user is administrator. He can do anything. So in Windows, there will be a file called as /documents and settings and /administrator. So as an administrator, any task that you do, your information is stored here. So similarly for Linux, a root user is a super user. /root is the home directory for a root user. Okay, there's a lot of difference between this slash and /root. Slash is a top level directory or it is a root directory. /root is a home directory of a root user. Okay, now I have another directory which is called as /home. Now what is the /home directory? Now for example, as a root user, I created one user. The user name is XYZ. Okay, now if a root user, if he creates any documents or if he stores something, if he does an activity, where the data will be stored? The data will be stored under /root because that is the home directory of the root user. Now if this user XYZ, if this guy does some activity or if he do some function, okay, where the data will be stored? That will be stored under /home. So this is the home directory for all other users. This is the home directory for all other users. Okay, this is very important to understand. This /root is a home directory of a root user. /home is the home directory of all other users apart from root user. All right. So now, for example, XYZ is the username. So the data of XYZ is stored under /home. Under /home, okay, now let's say there is another user ABC. Okay, where does this guy's data store? It also stores under /home, right? Because home /home is the home directory for all users. So how can I differentiate between the data of XYZ user or ABC user? So under /home, there are some other files created. /home /XYZ is the directory that belongs to the user XYZ. Now for ABC /home, under /home, there is another file that is created called as ABC. So by the name of username, so whatever is the username, under home, one directory will be created by the name of username. So this is the home directory of that particular user. Is this clear, guys?
Yes. But these other, the users other than the root users cannot access this root directory, right?
No, they cannot access the root directory. Only if you log in as a root only, they can access the root directory.
Okay.
Because root directory is a super user, it can modify anything on a Unix system. Okay. I have another file called as /boot. So when a Windows server or a desktop is coming up, there's a boot OS. If you guys know, DOS is a boot OS. So first DOS operating system will come up and then Windows operating environment will work. So where does this DOS information will be there? The data is there on a hard disk, on some folder. Similarly, if a Linux system has to boot, it has some bootable files. So where does bootable files will store? So bootable files, like for example, there's a file called as boot ini. There's a file called as nltdr. These are bootable files. So at the time of booting, these files will execute so that Linux can be loaded properly onto the system. So all the bootable files, data is stored under a folder called as /boot. Okay, I have another folder called as /etc. So slash etc contains all the configuration files. Okay, now let's say there are 100 users. Okay, all the 100 users will have passwords. Okay, if I want to see all the 100 users, there's some file called as slash etc slash password. If I want to change the password, there's a file called as slash etc slash share. Okay, if I want to see the what is my DHCP, okay, what is my DHCP configuration, it will be under slash etc. It will be under something called as DHCP. Okay, I think it is with a daemon, so it will be basically DHCP dot d config. There's a file like this. So slash etc files, basically it stores all the configurations which is there on the system. That is the folder of slash etc. So on Amazon also will come to know a lot of files like this. So you should know, once you see slash, that means basically slash represents the path. The first, by default it will be slash, that is the root path or the the main directory. So under that, so it is basically similar. We'll say slash C drive. Under C drive we'll say documents and settings, or under C drive we say something else, right? So for everything, slash will come in the starting, that is the root directory. Okay, now slash etc, in the sense I'm saying under root you go to a folder called as etc, that will have all the configuration information.
But every user will have different permissions as well, right? For example, if a user can log into home, right, he may or may not be able to change passwords, right? Or access to the password file, right?
He cannot,
Or configuration.
change it. Only root user can change it. But we can also give, for example, user XYZ is there. I can also make that user XYZ as a root. Then only he can go and make the changes. Or else for a normal user, he'll not have any permissions.
Okay, thank you.
I have another folder called as user. So by default, in this user, for example, there's a user name is ABC. This user has installed some software. So all the data will be there under a folder called as slash user. Okay. Okay, there's another option called as slash bin slash sbin. So whatever commands a root user can run, whatever commands a root user can run, it will be there under slash bin. For example, now tomorrow you're writing a script. Okay, the script is like this: if XYZ, okay, else something else, okay, then run something else. This is a script that you have written to execute. So now who has to run this script? It has to be run by a root user, or it has to be run by any other user. If it has to be run by only root user, the script has to go into a folder called as slash bin. If any user can run this script, then it has to go under slash sbin. All right. I'm so sorry. I just told it reverse. Slash bin is for all the users. Slash sbin is for the super user. I'm so sorry. Sbin is for the root. Slash bin is for the all the users.
But these directories are also like main directories, right? After the slash, like the other ones, like a slash home, slash root.
So this root is the main directory. Under this, for example, let's say this slash bin is the first one. Again, there will be a path. Slash bin, for example, I'm writing a script for a project called as XYZ. So slash bin, XYZ, okay, slash, if there's something else, slash, it will be like this. This will be a path.
Yeah, but slash bin, before slash bin, there is nothing, right?
Nothing.
Slash,
nothing.
Okay, got it.
Slash is the main root user, and then bin is the next one. Anything, it will start with the slash. There will be nothing before the slash. Okay, I just
Thank you.
tell this back again: slash bin and sbin. Okay, slash bin and sbin. Okay, there are some commands that a root user can run. there are some commands all other users can run. So if root user has to run the commands, all that will go into sbin. Any other user can run the commands, it will go into bin. So basically, normally if I have to give access of commands to all the users, that should be part of bin. Only a super user can run, or that means a root user can run, the commands will be part of sbin. All right, now I have another folder called as /dev. Now what is a /dev? So the name itself, it says it is a device. So it contains the device files, information about the hard disks. Okay, now the physical, that server, for example, there is a server. Okay, in the server there is hard disk 1, hard disk 2, hard disk 3, hard disk 4. Now if I want to see this data of hard disk 1, 2, 3 and 4, where should I go? If I go into the folder called as /dev, I'll have complete information of these hard disks. For example, this server is connected to some network. It is having another hard disk here. This data will also be there in this particular folder called as /dev. So /dev, basically it will have the information about all the hard disks that are connected. And for your information, hard disk, we call it as HDA. HDA means hard disk A. HDB, if you see, that means it is a second hard disk. HDC, that means it is a third hard disk. HD is basically hard disk.
How do we differentiate between bin and sbin?
We don't need to differentiate. It is by default, it is created. So if you want some script or some commands that has to be run, only a root user can run that. That has to go into the sbin. Any user can run it, that has to go into the bin. We don't need to differentiate. These files.
Okay.
These files are by default created at the time of installation. Okay, it is for our easier management. We set some rules.
So can a root user run a command if he's in the bin directory, and the script would go into sbin?
Yes.
That would happen like that.
The root user can run that.
Okay, but the script will go. This script will go into sbin, right? Not in the bin, because the root user is running those root user level commands.
Yes, right. The script will go into sbin, right? But if
That root user will not specify or target that the destination will be the
we have to
sbin.
go to that. We will come to that. There is something called as absolute path and relative path. So
Okay.
use the path and run the commands. We'll see that.
Okay.
So Satish, where does the other device drivers store? Is it like in the /etc or in /dev? The other, like for example, printers or your other peripherals devices?
We are coming to that. There are some other folders as well.
Okay.
Okay. So till now we have discussed about /root /home /boot /etc /user. We have something called as /opt. I'll come back to that. Okay, we discussed /bin. We discussed /sbin. We have discussed /dev. And there's something called as /proc. What is /proc? Now I have given one task to the system, task 1. Another user has given another task, task 2. Another user has given another task, task 3. So now I want to go back and check on my system how many tasks are running. Where do I see that? So you can see on a folder called as /proc, which means process files. All the processors which are having those process files will be there in this file. But it contains, the contents on this processor are not permanent, because once this task is finished, this is done. A new task will come, right? Once this task is finished, I'll not have that file. A new task will come. So where this, if I want to go back and see what happened to this task, whether this has run or not, how to check that? It will basically be there in a folder called as /var. /var is basically for logs. Okay, now for example, I have installed VMware. Everybody know VMware hypervisor. On my hard disk, I have installed on my physical server. Let's say I have installed VMware hypervisor. If I want to go and check the VMware logs, it will be /var/VMware/logs. If I install something like a company called EMC software, /EMC/logs. If I have installed something like a HP printer, and if I want to know the logs of that printer, /HP/log. So whatever software you install, everything will have logs. If you want to see that under /var, there are folders created. There you can go and check the logs.
These are basically subdirectories, right?
Yes. Every directory will have subdirectories.
Okay.
Okay, we have something called as /mnt. Okay, now what is a /mnt? It is basically called as a mount point. Okay, now a hard disk is there. Okay, I'm just giving an overview. We'll in depth come into what is a mount point. A hard disk is there. Now I have made this hard disk into A drive, B drive, C drive. Okay, now I want this C drive system I want this C drive to what is that? I'm not getting. I want to make us use this C drive ready and start storing the data. Format. I want to format the C drive and start storing the data on that. Okay. Now, this to start storing the data, I call it as mount point. That means where I have to give to some system saying that, okay, this is the drive, this is the partition you have to store the data on. So I call this particular place as a mount point. Okay, we'll come in detail to that later. So mount point means basically to telling which part of the disk is used by which application or which server, in short. So all the information about the mount points will be there in a folder called as /mount. Okay, now I have another file called as /media. So
Hey, Satish, just a quick thing. What is /user? There's a something /opt. No, the next user.
yeah,
O-
yeah.
What is this?
/opt is basically, it is an optional directories for user. It contains the third-party softwares. For example, if there is any third-party software, I have to install, let's say HP printer I'm having. First of all, I have to install the HP printer software, right? So this will come into this folder first, and then only it will be installed. If I don't want to install other, basically any third-party software, it will basically come into this folder called as /opt.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Then once I installed it, where would it go? It would go to the root directory, or like where would it go?
It will go into its respective directory. If it is a device, it will go into somewhere else. If it is media, it will go. So now I have another folder for media. So what is this media? For example, there is a CD-ROM. Somebody asked me a question, printer, right? If I am installing an external printer, okay. If I put a pen drive, okay, everything will come under this media.
So all the external devices will be under media?
Yes, exactly. Or you can say that all the removable devices can be under media.
So hard drive will go in dev, but the USB will go in media.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Now
So if I don't give a mount, right? If I don't give a mount, which drive I'm going to mount, like a partition, what's gonna be the default partition, like C
we'll
or
come
like?
to that. We'll come to that. See, there is no C. There is no C in C is there only in Windows. Here we don't have C. We'll come to that. We have a chapter. As of now, you just remember it is we are making some partition. We are giving a mount point. We'll come to that when we'll actually create mount points. We'll do partitions. We'll create mount points.
Satish, can you just give an kind of an anomaly in terms of if we can compare with the Windows, like what is the closest thing in Windows uh, similar to Montpine? I'm just trying to understand
Functionality.
OS.
Okay, in Windows there is an option called as disk management. Okay, you go onto your computer, start run disk management.msc. It will open it will open one page for you. In that, there's an option called as add a disk. Okay, click on add a disk. It will ask the source from where you want to add a disk, and then it formats the disk, and it will ask you to give a drive letter. Already C will be there already. Okay,
Yes,
and
gotcha.
C is the default one, and then it will ask give you some other number like D or K or whatever. So the same thing is nothing but a mount point.
Okay, this helps. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, now I have another folder called as library. It contains the library files which are used by the OS. Now the operating system has a lot of library files. For example, on Linux, you go and click on help, or for that instance on Windows also we have this library. You go and click help. It gives help for every command, everything. I mean, on Linux we call them as basically man pages. For every command, everything, there's help that is there. Okay, so all these OS files are stored in a folder called as library. Okay, these are some of the important folders. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm preparing a special notes only for you guys for this. Okay, because if we have to come, if you guys have to read this essay 1, essay 2, that is System Administrator Part 1 and Part 2, which covers Red Hat Linux 7 certification as well. The books itself is around 600 pages, but whatever I'm going to tell now with the same points, I'm going to prepare a notes and send it to you across. But it will take time, around 2-3 days time. Now, what is my hardware requirements? What is my hardware requirements to install Linux on any hardware? If I have to install Linux, the hardware has some requirements, right? Okay, basically, I can have a AMD processor or a Intel processor. Intel, it can be a dual core processor. Okay, it can be before dual core processor. There's something called as 2-do processor. Okay, it is also compatible. Motherboard, any motherboard for Linux will do. Okay, it can be a normal motherboard, or it can also be something called as VT enabled motherboard. It will also do. Okay, what should be the RAM capacity? Or minimum RAM capacity? It's 512 MB is also good enough. 1 GB is also good enough. Okay, I can also, I mean, again, there are a lot of versions in Linux. Okay, now the latest one is called as Red Hat Linux 7 certification, which is Red Hat Linux 7 is the latest. If you go to the older versions, and I'm saying 512 MB is good, is that good for version 7? No, for version 7, the minimum is 1 GB. 512 will not, it is not compatible. All right. So when somebody asks what is the default partition, right? So the default partition is slash. That is the um, root directory. SC is the root directory for Windows. Slash is the root directory, and that is the default. If I don't create any partitions, everything will be there under slash. Because in Windows, if I have a 500 GB hard disk, if I don't create any partitions, everything will be there under C, right? So similarly on Unix as well, if I don't create any partitions, everything will be there under slash. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now there are 3 ways how I can create I'm telling all these files are very important. So now how to create files, how to manipulate files. There are 3 ways how I can create my files. 1 minute. Okay, there are 3 ways how I can create files. One is called as touch. Another one is called as cat. Third one is called as VM. Okay, everybody says that touch is to create files, but basically touch is to change the timestamps. Okay, so now I'll just try to show. You guys see my terminal, right?
No.
No.
We
Okay.
just see the TouchCat Vim screen.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, now what do you see?
Yes.
Okay, now if I have to create a file, touch X, and file is created by name touch. Okay. Okay, ls-l is the command. It will tell it is a list, a long list. -l is long. So now I want to see the X. You see here the X. What time is the file created? 22:07. Okay, that is the system time. Now let's put that apart. I'll show you other parts in touch. Now if I want to create multiple files in touch at a time, I can just use touch. What is the file which is not there? Okay, I'll use x1. Sorry, I can just use x1, x2, x3, x4. 4 files in the touch will be created with this syntax. You see that on my desktop the files are coming as soon as I create it, because when I'm creating it I said it is desktop. That means I'm right now on my desktop. So when I'm creating the files, it is creating on my desktops. Is that clear, guys? Now you
But
see
that's
that
the desktop of your virtual machine, right? Or your Windows machine.
it is my virtual machine.
Okay.
I have this virtual machine on my Mac laptop. I just opened the virtual machine. Okay, now,
Satish, you will show us, right, how we can have an Linux install so we can run the commands too, because we don't know where to run the commands.
of course, I will show that. The
Okay.
reason why I'm just doing it, these are all the basic commands. Okay. Now, the next class, what we will do, we will install a Linux instance on AWS, right? So that Linux instance, when we use, we will run all these commands. Today, majorly it is going to be theory. All right.
Okay.
Now,
So, Satish, so touch is kind of cd command in MS-DOS.
no, we also have CD here. We'll see that.
Okay.
It is not, CD is not the touch. Touch here is to create a file. If I have to tell the equivalent of Windows, right click and you select an option, create a file, right? Same thing is touch.
Okay.
Okay, now you all guys see this, what is the date of this X? It is 22:07, right? Now again, I'm giving touch X and enter. So it is not saying that the file already exists, right? Now if I go and see this long listing, what is the time there? 10:20.10. That it is means the timestamp has changed. So basically, touch is a command that we use to change the timestamp. So if there is no file, then it will go ahead and create a new file with the timestamp. If there's already file existing with that name, then what it will do, it will go ahead and change the timestamp of that particular file. That is about a command called as touch. All right. Now we have another one called as cat. Okay. One of the difference between touch and cat is, while I created this file touch, is there any data in that file? There is no data. It is only empty files, right? I just created a file. It was there. So right click on Windows. If you just do a right click, okay, and create a file, is there any data? There is no data. It is just an empty file. So touch is also nothing but an empty file. But in cat, while I'm creating a file itself, I can put the data. How? Cat greater than symbol. Now somebody give me some file name. I'll say x12345. Okay, this is my first file. Okay, so I created the file in cat. Now I want to see what is the data in the file cat. So cat x12345. So what is the data? This is my first file. I have copied this root list also, so it is coming there. So now I want to add some more data to that file. How can I add now? Cat, if I give x, greater than symbol, x12345, and this is my second file. Now what will be the data? Now if I see cat x12345, what will be my data in that?
Both the data, both the previous and the new one?
No. Now there's only, just check, there's only the latest one. This is my second file because I'm just using one greater than symbol. If I want to add the data to the existing file, then it'll be two greater thans. Okay. Now there's already the data. This is my second file, right? Now I'll add, this is my first file. All right. Now if I go and see that, what will be the, this is my second file, this is my first file. So basically if I'm using a single greater than, that means it will put my data. If I'm putting a double greater thans, it will append the data which is there in the file already. Understood? So this is nothing but overwriting.
And what keys did you use to come out of the file when you were writing in the file? What keys were you used coming out of the file?
The Control D.
Control D. Okay.
Okay, this is overwriting. This is appending. And one more thing we will do, because in a group class, I can't help each and everyone to get it installed. What I'll do in the weekend, in the weekdays, in the evenings, around the same time, or in evenings for me is, evenings for you is mornings for us. So whoever is free, at what time it is free, if you ping me upfront, what I can do, I can take remote session of your laptops. We will install a VDI, that is Oracle VDI, and on the VDI we will install a Linux operating system on your desktop as well, so that it will be easy for you to practice. Is that okay with you people?
Yeah, you can also show us in the class to everyone, then we can try, and if there's a problem, then we can do it by our own, with your help. Yeah.
So this Oracle VDI is like a virtual machine?
Pardon me?
Oracle VDI gonna be a virtual machine, or it's gonna be
Yeah,
like a
Oracle
second?
VDI is basically a virtualization software. On that virtualization software, we'll install a virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say cat. If I have a very big file with so many number of lines, I want to put numbers to that lines. How I can put my file name here is numbers. Okay, and to that file name, what I did, I had put -n. That means put the numbers to that file lines which is there in that file. Cat -n and the numbers, which will actually put numbers to all the lines which is there in your file. Now let's say I have created numbers, right? Okay, I'll say cat alpha cat numbers. Now what will happen, guys? Any idea? Any guesses? So numbers is a file which has some data in that. What I did, I want to copy all the data to a new file called as alpha. So I can just give numbers double greater than, and it is not necessary that file alpha has to be there. If it is not there, it will create a new file. Now let's go and see what is the data in alpha. You see whatever data is there in the cat, it is there in alpha. Now you can also use this cat for one more thing. Now I'll say numbers alpha to beta. Okay. Now I'll go and say beta. You see that 2 times it is printed. So basically, first file and second file contents. If you want to merge two files, you can use the easy option called as cat. In the cat, the first file name, second file name, greater than symbol, and the new file name. It is not mandatory that new file has to be there. Even that new file is not there, it will create a it will create new file and all the contents will be copied. Okay, now two things we have discussed. One is touch and the one is the guys, these are very important. Even when you're working in AWS CLI, if you want to create a file, it is the same way that you will create. Touch is one of the method to create empty files. Cat is also another method to create files. You can put the data at the same time when you're creating a file. Okay, now I
So
have
Satish,
yeah.
in AWS, it has to be CLI based. There is no GUI based option.
No, what we saw yesterday is a UI based option. That is nothing but AWS UI. We also have AWS CLI. Yesterday we created an instance, right?
Right.
That is nothing but AWS UI.
Right.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand, because you're saying we will use the similar commands in the AWS when we were trying to create.
I'm saying that if we are doing it through CLI.
Okay. But we do have a similar similar options available in the UIs, right?
Yes, we do have.
Right. All right.
But there are some things that we use specifically CLI. We'll see that. Okay. Now the third option is VIM. Okay. So what is VIM? It is called as, okay, previously it used to be called as VI. Now people call it as VIM. So it is anything is one and the same. Okay, it is called as basically a visual editor. Okay, now there is this file called as alpha, right? I can use vim alpha. Okay, now as soon as I enter into this file called as alpha, I have given a wrong spelling, guys. It's I have given as APLHA. Let me go to that file. God. You see that there is data which we created there, right, by using the cat command. So there are three modes basically on a VIM. One is called as command mode, another one is called as insert mode, third one is called as extended command mode. These are the three modes which is there in a VIM. Now if I want to put some data into this file, all I need to do is that I need to press an option called as I. So as soon as I press I, it is coming as insert. Now I can type whatever data I want. I can insert the data in this file. Okay. Now if I want to go back to the command mode again to save this file, I need to press something called as escape. Now again it went into command mode. Now if I need to save this, I need to press something called as colon. Okay, this is also called as, some people also call it as colon mode. Colon WQ, your file is saved. Now I can go back and check in cat. You see that whatever new data I have put, everything is there. Okay, basically there are three modes. One is called as command mode. Second one is called as insert mode. So how can I go from command mode to insert mode? To go from command mode to insert mode, what I need to do is I need to press escape. I need to press escape. Then I'll go from command mode to insert mode. Okay, the last one is called as extended command mode, or you can also call in simpler terms as column mode. So after colon, you save it or you exit it. All right, guys, this is also one of the method to create files. So which one we will use? We will use cat, or we'll use touch, or we'll use VIM. So whenever we are manipulating with the files, we use VIM, because with the cat we don't we cannot manipulate, right? So we use VIM. So there are a lot of other options in VIM. Let's see them. Okay, let's say, okay, I'll take one password file. Okay, I told that there's something called as PASSWD, right? Password file. So it'll be like this. So now, guys, can anybody tell me what is the wrong it is giving it to me? I'm trying to create a file which is already there. Okay. Okay, now this is the file, this is the password file. Okay, there are a lot of options that I can do here. Okay. Okay, no, we'll not do that now, we'll skip it. We'll do that along with the people next time. Okay, now what we will see, Okay, guys, it's 11:40 time now. We will just take 5 minutes break. Is that okay? We'll
Yes.
see about permissions after break. Okay, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys, I'm back. Guys, I'm back. Is everyone back there?
I'm here.
Yes. I'm here.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, now we have created files, right? So now every files, all the files will have permissions. So these permissions basically of three types. Okay. So if I am creating a file by name, let's say I'm creating a file by name X. Now who I am one user. Okay, this user belongs to one group. Okay, let's say there are also other users on the system. So now this file should have what permissions for this user, for this group, and for these other users. So there are basically 3 levels of permissions. One is owner or user level. That means the person who creates the file. He is the owner of that file and he is the user of that file. And there is some second one is group. Third one is others. So normally for a file, what all permissions I can give? I can give write permissions. I can give read permissions. I can give execute permissions. Okay. Now, if a user wants all the 3 permissions, so then it will be read, write, execute. If a group also wants all the 3 permissions, read, write, execute. Others also, all others also has to access this file, then it is read, write, execute. So this is a full permission for everybody for the file. Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. For example, the others, there does not read, execute permission. Then it will be read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, and dash. There is no execute permission for the other users. So if, for example, the group doesn't have read permissions, then it will be read, write, execute, read, dash, execute, read, write, execute. So that means this fellow is having, others are having full permissions. To whichever group this user belongs, he has only read and execute permission. The owner or the user, he has a full form permissions. So whenever you see permissions like this, that is how you decode. This is for user, this is for group, this is for complete, the other users. All right. And so basically read, R means read only. Okay, W means it can be write, edit, delete, basically to modify it. X means to execute. That means to run a command. Okay. These are the 3 types of permissions. Now,
So these are the permission within the file, right? But the user cannot delete the file itself, right? Or they can
he
delete.
can delete the file. W is for a user to write, edit, and delete. He can delete the file. He has that permissions.
Okay.
If he has W permission, he can delete it. Now, how to give permissions? So permissions is there for the files. Now, how to modify or give permissions to these files? Okay. Basically, there are 2 types. The permissions we can give basically in 2 types. One is called as symbolic method. The other one is called as absolute. That means by using numbers. Okay. Now, what is the command that, whatever it is, the command that we use is called as chmod. Chmod is to change the permissions of that particular file. Now let's say I'll write the syntax here. Chmod, that means change the permission. I'm saying U is equal to RWX. G is equal to RW. O is equal to R. and the file name. So what I'm saying in this, basically, I'm saying for user, you give full permissions. For group, you just give read and write permissions. For others, you just give a read permission. Let's go back and see whether it will work or not. Okay, first of all, if I want to see the permissions of a file, how would I check? ls-l. If I want to see only that particular file, you can see file name. Then you can see the permissions that is given for that particular file. We will see now that okay, if you see here, read write x, before read write x and all, there's something called as d, right? So what does this d means? D means it's a directory. If it is no D, then there is no directory will not be there. Now I'm creating one file. Let's say touch X. Okay. Now let's see, -l X. So basically, what are the permissions that is given for this file file X? For the user, what is the permission there for the user? User is having only read write. User is having only read and write permission. Right here you see, user is having only read and write permission. A group is having what permission? It is having only read permission. Others are having what kind of permission? They're only having read permission. First, let's change this permission. So to change the permission, chmod. Okay, what we will give? We'll give user full access. He doesn't have an execute permission, right? Okay, we'll give the full access. What is the, or how should I give? User is equal to rwx, right? For group, we'll say group should have read and write as of now. Group is equal to read and write. Okay, others is equal to, let's say, read and write for them also. For what file? File X. Chmod. Okay, why it is saying contact invalid command for you RWX? Because for me, the user itself, he doesn't have an execute permission, right? User is not having an execute permission. How can I do that on the file? I cannot do that. Okay, let's see. What is change? One minute, guys. I'll explain. Okay, now if you see here, the file, what is the permissions it is having? It is having read write x, read write x, read write x. That means user is having read write x permission. The group is having read write x permission. Others also having read write and execute permission. Now with the help of chmod, what I'm changing is I'm having the user same permission. For the others, I'm just giving read and write permission. For the group, I'm just giving read and write permission. For others, I'm just giving a read permission, no write permission also. Let's see now again. You see the permissions has been changed for that. Now let's change again. I want answers, guys. Now tell me what permissions shall we give for others?
Read write.
Yep.
Read write. Okay. For group,
Read write execute.
okay. For user, we'll put read write execute. Okay. Now we are changing the permissions for others and group. Let's see it again whether permissions change or not. You go back and see the group is having read write execute permission. Others are having read write, and the user is having read write execute permission. You saw that? This is one way of changing the permission. That is called as symbolic method.
What is the X45 at the end?
X45 is the file name.
Okay.
I created a file by name X45.
Initially, when you were trying it, right, it was not taking it, right? What did you change? Why was it not taking it before?
Okay, I'm just going to tell that. So initially when I was trying it, okay, what the problem was that the file is having a only read write permission. It doesn't have an execute permission. So I have used another method called as absolute method to change the permission. Okay. So now I will tell you what absolute method is.
Like a 777 command, right? That's what you gave, right?
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
was.
Okay, now in absolute method, that is basically numbers. Read is nothing but 4. Write is 2. Execute is 1. So total it is 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. That means 7 means full permissions. So now here we have 3 types of permissions we need to give, right? One is for user, one is for group, one is for others, right? Now if I give 7 for user, that means he'll have read, write and execute. If I give 7 for group, that means the group will have read, write, execute. If I give 7 for others, That means the others will have read, write, and execute. So now if I give the permission as 775, what will happen? The others will have only read and execute. They will not have write permissions. If I give 755, group will have read and execute. Others will have read and execute. Write permissions will not be there. So if I give like 6, 7, 7, 6, 7, 7 means user will have read and write. He'll not have execute permissions. Group will have full permissions. Others will have full permissions. So basically by using this also, I can change the permissions.
I think the easier method is the absolute, right?
Yeah.
Direct.
I mean, that is also easy. It is basically, if you know, both are easy basically. How to...
Or you have to type less in the absolute method compared to the other one. You have to write.
Then also I can just give, if I'm giving all to everybody, UGO directly and put all, if you're giving a full. But comparatively, as you said, absolute method is little easy. Now let's go back and see that.
And on top of that, absolute method would work all the time, right? Even the other method would not work sometimes, as we have seen.
Now let's see for the same file, chmod, I'll give permission 775 x45. Now what is the permission for that, guys?
Full, and write and executable.
Yeah, full, and write and read is there. I mean, for the as of now, what is the permissions? As of now, for x45, the permissions are full, and read and write.
Yes, so 776.
Now if 776. Now if I'm giving 775, let's see what happens.
Is executable and write would be off. So the third one. Full, and write and execute.
See, only write and execute is there. Read permission has gone for that. Okay, now we can change again. Okay, now what happens?
Full, write, executable, full.
So full, write and execute, and full. Okay, in this is one more way of giving permissions.
Satish.
Yes.
Satish, I use this thing, a lot in my current web server. So the one which we are using at work. The question I have is, like, let's say I'm in a user folder. Let's say my name Syed, right?
Okay.
And there is another person in the user folder, Tariq, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say Tariq has its own file in his own folder, right?
Okay.
What permission he will give into his folder that I cannot even access his folder, or even if I access his folder, I cannot see the file, or even if I see the file, I cannot execute the file. You see my point? There are so many levels I can stop other person to come into my folder, right? So hide it or something like that, right? Or maybe if it's there, but even if I double click it, if I want to access it, I cannot access it, because right now there are other users too in the company, right? And if I go to their folders, I can't access anything.
Okay, these are the basic level permissions. Okay, we will discuss another topic called as ACLs. Okay, that is an advanced permissions for the files. What you are asking me, it is covered under that. So basically, if others in the sense, so when we are saying owner, first is the user, second is the group, third I'm saying it is others. Others means who? There can be 100 of others, right? So in that others, for one person, I just want read access. For another person, I want write access. For another person, I want read write access. Another person, I don't want any access. That comes under ACLs.
Okay. And if I, let's say, if I have a if I in the one of the folder, right, if there is a one file, right, and I just don't want that file to be copied by someone, right? So what permission should I give it to them?
Only read permission.
Only read permission,
Yeah.
right?
They can only read the file. They cannot execute any command, or they cannot make any changes. They cannot even copy. They can just read.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? We are going to stop it here today. What I'm going to do, all the commands that we discussed, all the topics that we discussed. So we basically discussed basics of Unix, and we discussed about the folders, and we discussed how to create files. I mean, whatever I told is the basic today. Okay, we'll come back to the touch, cat, and I mean, we'll not come back to touch and cat again. We'll come back to the VAM. There are a lot of things that we need to know on the VAM on a daily basis when you're working. There are a lot of shortcuts you can learn. How to go to the first line, how to go to the last line, how to delete some letters in between, how if you deleted something, if you want that to get back, how to get back that. If you're not allowed to save it, how to forcefully save it, exit it. Okay, we'll discuss a lot on the VAM. Okay, so basically we discussed about the folders, we discussed about the three options how to create the files, and we discussed about the permissions, and we have ACLs. That is a different topic, Sayed. What the question that you asked covered under ACLs?
Yeah. So Satish, I mean, we are still not 2 hours, right? I mean, we started late today, right? So can we cover a little bit more topics today? Because otherwise it's gonna be the next week, right? So
Yeah, see, if we start another topic, we may not be able to finish that. Okay, we will learn little slow. That's fine. See, this topic, whatever these three topics that I told, it is nobody covered under 3 to 4 hours. Up to a little faster. I mean,
It is regarding the installation of the Linux environment or the
yeah, why don't you show that one, the Linux? How can
first I
we
need to
solve
send you
them?
guys. First, I need to clear this image on mine. Okay, I need to send you guys, and okay, I'll do that right away. I have to
Why
send
don't you create it on the AWS, and then we can do it, because you created the Windows server yesterday. Why don't we create a Linux server on the AWS, and then we will use the Linux
that.
base?
Yes, Syed, I understand that. That also has its own. Some of the things we will do on Linux AWS. Some of the things we will do on your partition that we create. For example, if we next topic, let's say creating a partition. I cannot use an AWS mission and show you cannot practice in an AWS mission how to create a partition, how to make that as an LVM. You cannot use AWS mission and do those things. You have to have that on your system.
Right. So why don't you access one of our systems, one of the person's system, and show us, everyone, since we have some time, and then, we all will follow that process, because I know you have installed it, right? So, but a lot of the people do not have it. Why don't you take
Okay.
access to someone?
Can anybody quickly install something called as Virtualbox Manager?
I think I have it in my machine. So, but I would say that I have to check. 1 minute.
I have sent, just check. I pinned in the group, just check. Virtualbox Manager.
So, Satish, could you send us the instruction how to install VirtualBox Manager and then VDI?
I'll send the instruction, and the second thing, I also have to send an ISO image to everybody.
Okay, and one request, right? So you are sending that on this um, on the WhatsApp, right? Why not you have our email addresses, right? Can you send us in the email? That's gonna be much easier.
I have sent both email and WhatsApp yesterday.
Okay, you send both. Okay, let me check my email then. Yep. So send us this one as well, right? Virtual machine and everything. So I will install it on my machine.
No, I am trying to first. I'll upload the ISO image.
So once you upload it, I can share my screen if you want, Satish. But I have a lot of personal stuff, so I just want to use the VirtualBox.
Yeah, yeah. See, practically it is not going to work to show it right now because I have to upload this ISO image. I have to share it with you. You have to download that on your system.
Yeah. No, so the whole idea is like, because you mentioned that anyone during that week will directly ping you. So the whole idea is that we can do that exercise, together. So maybe we can do it next time or whatever time is
Yeah,
suitable.
so Satish, can I share my screen quickly? Because I have a Kali Linux operating system already.
No, no.
Uh,
Say it. I am uploading. If you see my screen, I am uploading an ISO image for Red Hat 7.
mhm.
Okay. I will share this drive to you. You have to download first that on the on your machine. So even if I'm installing Red Hat Linux on your VDI, I need to have that image, right? Then only.
Correct. So what I'm saying is this: I already have an other image, not this one, but I have another image. Can you show us everyone because the process is going to be same, right? Because the reason why I'm asking is I tried it earlier and I failed. Something happened, some error happened, and it just so confusing.
Okay,
So
just put me through once. Let me access your screen once. I'll stop sharing of my screen.
So we have to install VirtualBox Manager first, right? Like a virtual machine, correct?
Yeah,
And then we need to install image, right? Like ISO image, right? Is that correct? Understand?
exactly. Go to file. Can you give me the control?
can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Can you give me the control? I have
Yes.
requested for a control. Yeah, can you give me the control?
Already gave it to you.
How much space you have?
Memory. Yeah, you can. Don't have much, but yeah, you can. Not a lot, too much. Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Now, if you have an image there, this image is inaccessible.
Why?
From where have you downloaded that?
Somewhere, I don't know. I just followed some video and tried to.
Is that there on your desktop?
I don't know. I can't share my desktop. I have a lot of personal stuff, but yeah, I mean, yeah, don't go to my computer, man. Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's okay, no problem. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is the one I have it, but
So basically, once we come here, the ISO image, what I'm going to give you, if you put that on your desktop, okay, that will come here. Okay, just
okay,
select that ISO image and click on start.
and that's it.
Huh. That's you have to keep following the next. There is one place it will ask, do you want to manually create the disk or this, let the system create that? Select the option system create that. It will click next. It will open system Linux for you. That's it.
Okay.
So, Satish, one question, right? So this virtual machine box, right? Like VirtualBox, right? Manager, right?
Of
Is
course.
creating the virtual machine for Linux, right? And this ISO is kind of a software for Linux operating system. At top of that.
Yeah, it is a like we install Windows, right? That software
Hmm.
for Linux. Also, there's a software. I'm saying that I'll send an ISO image of the same software. It is
Okay,
basically
I get.
image of an operating system.
Okay. And can it be used for practicing OpenStack as well? This virtual
No,
machine?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
See, OpenStack is basically used now. For example, I have one company. Okay. Now let's say my company has multiple departments. I mean, let's say I'm having one big company. My big company has one small company two, small company three, small company four, small company five. Now I have my data center. Okay. I want to make that data center my private cloud. That is where we use OpenStack.
Okay.
All right. We'll see that later, anyways. No problem.
So Satish, I will try to do this, and I hope everyone will follow that, and then we will let you know if there is any issue.
Sure. My ISO image will take another 40 minutes to upload. Okay. But I may not be able to send it to you guys today. I'll be able to send it to you the ISO image Google Drive link tomorrow morning.
Okay, yeah, because night there. Okay, yeah. So send us tomorrow morning, but make sure you send it in the email plus in the WhatsApp group, both places.
Definitely, I'll send it.
Okay.
And if anybody wants how to install a VM VirtualBox Manager, I'll also send this procedure, step-by-step process, what needs to be done.
Yes, please appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure. And I'll also make a note of Linux installation step by step. There will be totally 10 steps for both VM VirtualBox and the Linux. I'll make a note of all the 10 steps, what you need to select where, and I'll send it.
And when will you send it, and where will you send it?
I'll send to both WhatsApp as well as email. Okay, if I have to make a note and everything and send it, it'll be like tomorrow evening for us. That means maybe for you tomorrow morning. I mean, in your time tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, man.
Oh,
Thank
you mean
you.
ISO as well in the email, or ISO will be on the OneDrive?
ISO is on the drive. I can't
Okay.
send ISO on email. I can also send, but even it will comes as a drive only.
No, yeah, OneDrive will be okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. See you.
Satish, I need some help in my AWS Amazon account. Can you help me for a little bit over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me. Okay, we'll come one on one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay. Is that you created your account yesterday?
yeah, yesterday I created it and there's some problem with it. I
It'll
don't
take
know.
24 hours. It'll take 24 hours normally for the Amazon to give full access.
But I think like I selected the wrong ones. It's not the free ones. I don't know. There's something wrong. Yeah, it's getting stuck here, like on the payment method.
Okay, did you select make a payment?
Yeah, I did all this thing, but after that,
Let's make a payment. Okay, it is successful.
sorry.
Yeah, it is successful. Payment is successful. Now go to services. Go to EC2. Okay, do you have a do one thing?
Mhm.
Go to that page again.
The previous page.
Uh, okay, you can also contact support why the account is suspended.
Yeah, yesterday I think I made the wrong one. It's not the free one, so I think
No, by default, if you're creating something, by default it will be free. Or else sign out of this account, sign out, sign out, sign out. Okay. Do you have any other email ID apart from the ones which you're using now?
Yeah, I have another one.
Okay. Go to my account and create an Amazon account with that email ID.
Management console accounts.
Go to management console. Okay. Create as a new AWS account. Give a different email address.
What about the other one?
You need to get in touch with the support for that. I really do not see or don't know what options that you have selected. Get in touch with the support and ask them to delete that account.
Mhm.
Say personal, that's fine. You can select personal. On the top, there's two options. One is professional, another one is personal.
Oh, personal. So I have only one phone number.
Yeah.
7928. Straight. So line. Skyline.
You can
Yes, Salman, put your details. Just unshared your.
share the screen and you can put your details.
It's I think it's done, right?
Yeah, I mean once you put the details there, now secure it will take you the next line. So you see that on the top it says AWS free tier limits. So by default, the account that you get will be a free account for 1 year.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Check the screen now. I'll be there online. Just put your number and see the details. If anything is there, you can let me know. I'll help from there.
Satish?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a quick question too. I just created my account for AWS like earlier this morning. So I just have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
Like, how can I go to the Salman's account show global, right? So I didn't see any global here for the regions.
First, you need to log into your account.
Yeah, I am logged in.
Okay, can you show me your screen now?
Yeah.
Tariq, you can click just share button, in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I
Just-
did.
On the top, there is beside Tarif, there is North Virginia, right?
Yep.
That is where the regions you see. Just the drop down box. Okay, you will see all the locations there.
Yeah, but I didn't see global, right?
Which global that you're asking me about?
Like there were one region like the Salman screen, when we see it says global there too, right?
Here it will not be global. It will show all the regions.
All right. Yeah, I was just trying to work on that. So here we can create the instance and all that, EC2, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Whichever region you want to select, you have to go there and select the region.
You can create it right now. Bhai, hello, Tariq. You
Yeah.
can create it right now.
How? I have to just create one instance, right?
Correct.
Let's say entirely. I can select that.
Choose the
Don't select Linux. Select Windows as of now, because
previous. Go previous.
Because if you want to access the Linux machine, you need to understand what is SSH, what is an SSH key. There is a different one.
Okay. So I have to launch, right?
Yeah. So
Go down.
when we are launching, this is called as AMI. What we are selecting now is called as AMI, which is Amazon Mission Image. That means
Okay.
you can come little down more, little down. You see that, okay, stop there. You see Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base.
Yeah.
Okay, that means that is how that instance is having Microsoft software, server software, software OS already installed on that. Now press select. Okay, now that is the instance that you're selecting. Now go to the next configure instant details. Down. Yeah, next instant details. Okay, now how many instances that you want to create? You want to create only one instance. So do we want to create on demand? Is on demand. It is not. If you select spot, it will become spot. If it is not spot, it is either reserved or demand. Network will, as of now, we will use the same network. Will not make any changes. Come down.
Okay.
Okay, we will not change anything else as of now. Go to add storage. Okay, this is a root volume. By default, you get that. If you want to add additional storage, you need to press on the option add new volume. Okay, but for us, I think the free is around 30 GB only, so let's not add that. Just X that. No, you can just put click on that cross there. At the end of the EBS, end of that line.
Got it.
Now add tags.
Add text. Okay.
So click on add tag. We can add approximately up to 50 tags. Click on add tag. Okay. Let's say some cost center. Give some name. So this is basically for our reference to understand what is this mission is using, for where it is using, how we are segregating our missions. Yeah, you can give your name too. Yeah, give the value for that. Give the value. It should be always in key value pair. Give something else. Tariff personal. The value is personal.
Like the numbers?
No, you can just type it also.
Okay, over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Configure security group. So security group is basically we are telling this virtual machine outside world what all it should accept, what kind of request it can accept, or what kind of request it can send. That is nothing but a security. Now here already there is one rule that is added which is called as RDP. RDP means if I want to access now if I want to access your laptop, I can access it with the help of RDP if I know the IP address of your laptop. Similarly,
RDP basically is a remote desktop protocol,
yes,
right?
remote desktop protocol, exactly. So
Okay.
that we are using the security group, we are enabling that. So now it is asking what should be the source. Go to the source. If you drop down that, there are three options. One is drop down. One is custom anywhere my IP. If you select my IP, it will automatically takes your system's IP. Okay. So that means whatever instance that you're creating, it can be accessed only from your laptop, nowhere else.
Okay.
Okay. Now drop down that again. Select anywhere. That means anywhere anybody can access.
Okay.
Okay, if they know user ID and password. Okay. Now click on review and launch.
Hey, one question before you do that. So no, anywhere. Keep it anywhere. Yeah, one question before you move further. Hey, Tariq, 1 minute. So
Yeah.
Satish, why we don't have an inbound and outbound over here?
Okay, we can also add that inbound and outbound. Basically, inbound and outbound. So there are security group, right? In the security group, there's additional settings that we can do. So in the security group, we are saying what is the inbound messages that can be come to the VM. What is the outbound? As of now, when we select anywhere, that means the same rule, the same RDP rule here, it is applied for inbound and outbound as well.
Oh, okay, got it.
So whatever rules you select, it will be basically both inbound and outbound.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can review and launch it.
Okay.
Okay, now after this, it is important thing, launch, click on launch. Okay, now here it will say use an existing key pair or new key pair. So do you already have any new key pair?
Yeah, key pair.
Yeah, do you already have one?
No, he does not have it.
Create a
No,
new
I don't.
key pair. Create a new key pair. Drop down that. There's an option called as create a new key pair. Okay, select, give your name. Okay, download key pair. Okay, the key pair is downloaded. Okay, now launch instance.
Launch instance.
Yeah. Okay, go to services. On the top left hand side.
Yeah. Okay.
Go to EC2. Go to instances. On the left hand side there's instances. Okay, your instance is ready now. Now go to actions there. Actions.
Actions.
On the top. See now, if you need to connect to this desktop, we need to have a password, right? Select the option get Windows password. Okay, you need to wait for some time to password to be generated.
Okay.
So basically, once that cancel that again. Go cancel. Go back and try it again. Get Windows password. Okay. Now there, what it will ask? It will ask to give the file that you downloaded just now, right? So once you give that file that you downloaded, it will give you a password. You need to copy that password, and if you see there, the public IP address of this mission is 184 dot something is there, right? Scroll to the left. No, next one. 184 something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now go onto your system, click start run.
Start and run.
Yeah. Okay. Or else search for RDP directly.
Where would I have to go?
On Windows, there's a start some button to search, right? Select RDP there.
Okay, let me just. on the.
No, you can, I think, left hand side corner you can go. Left hand side corner.
Yeah, over here.
Top corner. Okay.
Search.
Here.
Okay, go back to the main screen, Tariq.
Yeah.
No, go back to the where you were earlier. Yes, and go all the way right. Scroll it to the right. Here in the bottom, you see, you scroll it to the right. Yes, go all the way, all the way, all the way right, all the way right, and then right. Yes,
Okay.
and search.
Just search.
Search button.
Okay. Apps.
Now search is RDB here.
RDP.
RDP.
RDP, P for Peter. It's not there. Okay.
No, press the search button. Press the search button. Or just type remote. Remote desktop. Yes, that's the one on the left bottom. Yeah.
If you don't have that, you can just type in MSTSC. Then also this will come up. Okay.
MS.
MSTSC.
Okay.
Okay, now type in the IP address.
Okay. So I should get that IP address.
184.73.139.19. Yeah.
I cannot copy that.
You can copy that. The username is administrator. Okay, now go to connect there on the back on the console. Go to connect. Actions, sorry, actions. Okay, here also you can get. Okay, get Windows password. Get password. Choose file. Choose file.
Yeah.
I think it will be there in downloads.
Downloads.
Huh.
Okay. There, can I find the downloads? Let's see, right?
Program files, downloads.
Can't find any download files.
Okay, go to
Should be in your users. It should be in your users. Go to C. No, go back to C.
Users, yeah.
Go to users.
Yeah.
You have to scroll up on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Go to Tariq.
Yeah.
Go to
download.
downloads.
Yeah.
Where is the file there? We saved it as the name of Tariq, right? Your name, right? Come down. Do you see any file by that name?
Click on any file and press T. Okay. Click on any file and then press T.
Yeah.
Now find it. Yes.
Open. Press open. Decrypt password. Okay, copy the first password there. Don't close it. Copy the password there. The end of the line. There's two file button. You can copy there. Okay, copy it. Close it. You go to that RDP back. That RDP. No. Come down. There is a
remote desktop.
remote desktop.
Remote desktop.
Come down.
They're like.
Come down.
In the bottom of your computer. Tariq, the one you the software. Yes.
Okay.
The password there. Okay.
So I put the same password here.
So 1 minute. Administrator spelling is the correct? ADMI.
Yes, it is correct. Yes, but hey, maybe he didn't copy it correctly.
Yeah, password. Okay, you have to go back and copy the password again.
Oh, where can I get that?
Go to actions. Okay, get Windows password. Choose file. Same thing, same process. Choose file.
Okay.
No, you were in the same. Go back. You were in the same folder, right folder. Go back. Yes, you are in the downloads. And your preview is not good. Just click anywhere and press D. Just click anywhere and press T. No, click on file on anywhere in the file or folder. T, more T. Keep pressing T.
Okay.
Can you make it a small? These are so big.
Like these.
Can you give me access to your computer? Can you give me the?
Just give me a sec.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, open.
Got it.
Yeah, open it.
And you can go easy, okay? Now press this decrypt password button. And now copy it from this button. No, close. You need to copy this password. No, do the right button. There's a small button. Yeah, just click that. That's it.
Okay.
Now don't close it. Go back to your remote desktop application.
Remote desktop application might be closed, right?
Yeah. Okay. You can give Alt tab. Let's see it is there or not.
Alt tab?
Yeah. Not there.
Why did you close it, man? And just go back and search it again.
Okay.
Yes.
Put the IP back there again. 182 something.
Yeah, don't copy paste the IP, man. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the safe password.
Yeah.
Can you put the drop down button?
Yeah.
Yeah, close it. Don't worry. Close it. And type the IP. Don't copy. No, don't copy it because you already copied that one.
.73.
Yeah, make it a little bit on the right. Just move it to the right. So you can see the, yes, now type it.
Yeah.
Administrator. Yeah.
Now it's good.
Yes.
Okay.
Click on S.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.